another episode of No Gatekeeping. Exactly what it says. The Founder Series. I'm Carlyn Bushman, sales strategist, business consultant, and founder of Pop Academy. This is where this is where we go behind the scenes with real founders to talk about what it actually takes to grow a business. No fluff, no filters, and guess what? No gatekeeping. We talk about real stories here. And today, I am joined by Kerri Hallman, a stress reduced fat loss practitioner. So curious about all of those words mixed together, and certified hormone specialist. Oh, I think we could all relate to that. After years of running a women's gym, she realized something was missing. Fitness alone wasn't enough. I'm sure many of you can relate to this today. Now, as the founder of the Balanced Bodies program, Kerri helps women over 40 identify and fix hormonal imbalances so they can reduce stress, regain energy. Oh, if I could have the energy like I did in my 20s, and lead with confidence in business and in life. And just for the record, I don't want to be back in my 20s, but the energy aspect, yes, ma'am, sign me up. So, Kerri, welcome to No Gatekeeping. I just want to pull off and rip off that band-aid and say, just give us the straight story for once and for all.
For sure. For sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm ready to dish it all out.
Amazing. Okay. So this is so fascinating. You've worked with many women, so many women founders, right, who push hard every day. And I just literally had this conversation this morning with a client, and this is, I could say, all my client conversations weave in some things that have to do with either hormones or energy levels or just overall health and well-being, longevity, all these buzzwords, right? So when you hear about this or see this, or I'm sure you listen to podcasts and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish we could get rid of the word hustle, right? Or something like that. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that affects hormones and that long-term health?
Yes, this is a loaded question. It can go down a lot of different ways. But essentially, when we are in the hustle culture, in your 20s, or in your 30s even, it's a little bit easier for your body to handle that go, 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 go. Maybe you're building a business and you have kids. Your body has the stamina. It has fresher hormones that are helping you along. But once you get into your 40s and 50s, no longer does your body want to do the hustle. And it'll give you subtle signs that we have never been taught to listen to. So in my opinion, we need to let go of the hustle culture. I used to be in that culture. I used to wear it like a badge of honor, thinking this is the only way. And I am doing the best because I am going as hard as I can from the second I wake up to the second I lie down. That's what I need to do to be the best at what I do. And all that happened in that time. Sure, I was productive. I got a lot of things done, but it actually wrecked my health. And that's where I came to go, oh, so maybe this isn't what we need to do. And as women, we can actually, as we get into our older ages, we can actually do better with less of the hustle. And our bodies will not be as sick and not as stressed if we just let go of that hustle culture. And it's really hard to do because you pop on Instagram and it's like that 5 a.m. club. Now, I am a 5 a.m. clubber, but I like my early mornings and I'm fine with that. I'm not doing it unnaturally. But if you're doing something unnaturally where you're like, I've got to go because I need to go and do the 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. spin class and kill myself before I start my day, otherwise I'll never get it done, you're actually doing worse for your body. And I'm sure we'll get into that.
Oh my gosh, Kerri, thank you. Thank you for the grace in the past. Like, let's say, I feel like sometimes I'm saying, I'm not a morning person. I'm not a night person. I'm not either on some days, and I'm
Yeah.
feeling like I feel terrible about it. And here's something so interesting that, like, when I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s with kids, I thought, okay, once the kids are off and they're off to college or they're off in their own lives, I'll have all this time to really lean in and use all this time to work on my business. This is like a true story for me, right? And I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have to manage the elementary, the school, the homework, all of that. So I should have more time and I should have more energy. And I'm feeling like that's just not what What happened? Like, that's not fair. First of all, that is totally not fair. That is not fair.
I think what happens is we identify as this hustler and we don't know how to identify as anything else. So when in your situation, you kind of grew your business, you built your life around this hustle. And for you to let go of the hustle, it's going to take work. It's not just going to one day, oh, my kids don't need me anymore. I just have all this free time. It's something that we have to work on. And there's some things like when my kids were younger, I was on all the committees, I was volunteering at the school, I was running my business, I was trying to be home for them. Like I wasn't home in the morning, but I was home in the afternoon, so I had to hustle. Sometimes we were rushing back to the gym. um, and I did it all, and then it was like I didn't want to do it anymore. My body was like, no. And I felt this strong, like, nope. And I'm like, you know what? I should probably listen to this. But I think a lot of times we don't listen. We're like, no, that's who I am. And you just like shove that voice down. And it's who you identify as. And that person in your 20s and 30s isn't the same person in their 40s. But we don't understand how to break apart from that identity that we've made for ourselves in that time frame.
So, Carrie, we had a question from the audience just now.
Oh, sure.
In all caps, by the way, tell me the signs. Like, tell
Well,
me the signs to recognize. Help me understand what that looks like.
okay, so if there is quite a few, and oftentimes it's not just one. And
Mm,
we need to understand that our body tells us everything we need. We don't
mhm,
need we don't need a book. We need the stuff to learn what our body's telling us, but our body's telling us everything. Okay. So if you start getting headaches, if
mhm,
you go strong all day and you're like, I'm exhausted, and then you go to
mhm.
bed and you're like, whoop, wired, that's a sign. If you wake up multiple times a night, the most common time is like 3 a.m., 3:39 a.m. I was notorious for 3:39 a.m. Every morning. If you don't feel hungry when you wake up in the morning, that's a sign. If your energy is lacking, if you find that you're reaching for coffee to boost your energy, if you're that 3 a.m. slump, if you're like, I need, let's say, yeah. So I don't, that could be water. I don't know. But if you're reaching for something external to give you that energy boost, that's a sign. Um, Other signs are like weight gain. And oftentimes, women in their 40s and 50s, they just go, "Oh well, yeah, this is the thing. Here goes. My midsection is going to grow because that's what happens." But it doesn't have to be. It's actually your body telling you that something's going on inside. Headaches. You can get brain fog. So there's lots of things that are listed. Forgetfulness. So it's not just one thing, it's more like what has changed. And we've got to look at our bodies and go, okay, it's not just my age, because that's not what it is. It's my body's trying to tell me something and I should listen. And if I don't listen, it's just going to get worse. That's how we need to start thinking of the signs that our body is giving us.
Okay, so really good to understand that we don't have to. What I'm hearing from you is if you feel headaches or fog or weight gain in the midsections or other places, right? Or some of these things, number one, we don't have to accept it. We have to listen to it, right? So
Mhm.
so when
Mhm.
we lean into talking about really, again, thank you for giving us like that like pass once again to not ignore it, right? To really figure out what it is. And we're also different. So when you talk about, because this could be a trigger, this could be in a positive way, they don't all have to be negative, right? You talk about stress reduced fat loss. Like that's, a stress reduced fat loss practitioner. Tell us a little bit more about that. That has so many good words in it where I'm thinking stress reduce, sign me up. Fat loss,
Yes.
sign me up. And a practitioner, somebody who really understands this business, outside of telling me increase cardio by this or increase weightlifting by this, right? We know that
Yeah.
lifting weights and we're getting all the stories, increase protein, try creatine, like on and on and on. So, what does this really mean when somebody talks to you? Like, could you just tell us how you take us down that path?
Okay. I'm trying to formulate it in as fewer words as possible because there is a lot of ways that we could go. So let's break it down. Stress. So the biggest thing is a lot of us, a lot of women specifically, carry stress in their body. So this doesn't mean the stress of our kids. This doesn't mean the stress of our work. This doesn't mean the stress from a partner or family. This is internal stress that we have put on ourselves, whether it's from years of dieting, whether it's from years of under eating. I will
Mm.
say that from the hundreds of women that I've worked with, there's not been overeaters. Every woman thinks they overeat. So then they cut calories, but they've actually been under eating their whole life, but their weight's not dropping. And because they're under eating, it's causing stress to their body. So everything
Mm.
correlates to stress. So drinking alcohol adds stress to your body. Not sleeping all night adds stress to your body. Not pooping every day, stress to your body. Those energy dips when you feel tired, that adds stress to the body. If you are in an environment where you are with toxic people, or if you are ingesting toxins into your body, that creates stress on your body. So my role as a stress reduced fat loss practitioner is to take the whole picture. What does your daily life look like? What are your relationships like? What time do you go to bed? What time do you wake up? What are you ingesting? How are you eating? What are you drinking? And I could go on. And
Mhm.
it's taking the whole picture and saying, what is this person's stress on their body? And then going, okay, so here's the amount of stress. These are the stressors. How do we eliminate them? How do we relieve some stress on the body? Because if your body is stressed out and fat loss is your goal, you will not release weight. So you can cut calories till the cows come home. You could work out like a banshee. You would not drop weight. And I know that because I've done that. And my weight just went up. And everyone else that I talked to, I'm working out. I'm doing the spin classes. I'm doing the boot camps. Nothing's working. My weight just keeps going up. It's because of the stress on your body. If your body is stressed out, okay, and I don't know why I'm like holding it in a ball, but if your body is stressed out, your body will not release anything. It is doing its job. It sees a stressor, it covers it up, it protects your body and says, we need to keep you safe. So, from a standpoint of an example, your body doesn't know the difference between being chased by a tiger
Mm.
and eating an inflammatory food, let's say. So it's the same stress response on your body. We need stress. Stress isn't all bad, but what's happened in our life is we've like tenfolded it into our body by the foods that we're eating, the stuff we're watching, the things we're ingesting on our phones, just the fast paced life that we're living, all those things. So stress reducing is reducing the stress from your body so your body can release weight.
So this is okay. I would love how you have simplified this for us, but now let's go into like real world application here and
Yes.
running your own business. So when I talk to many founders, all the time, all day, every day. And it's because I love doing that, right? So my whole thing is typically grounding founders in understanding the like building blocks of building a sustainable business. And I really take it from marketing, financials, technology, right? So, how do you build a solid business where you know your numbers? You can say, I'm the CEO of this business, but it's not in this chaotic whiplash, frenzy, but more of let's just approach this. Let's really understand where we are today as a benchmark, where you want to go, and what it's going to take to get there, but in systems and things like that, right? I feel like you are talking about something very similar, except it's this stress that we're like, where are you today? And what are we going to start to do? But like all of us, it sounds so good. And it is so hard when running a business. Like one day I wake up and I wake up thinking about all the business challenges I have for the day, or, what can I do to serve my clients, in the space for the day. Other days I go to sleep feeling that way. I've like removed my phone from my nightstand. So at least like all of that like that energy is not close to me anymore. Now actually have to get up out of bed when my alarm goes
Yeah.
off. It's hard. It's hard.
It is. And I feel so one of those pillars that you could put in there is how are you taking care of yourself? Because I think as a founder, that needs to be a piece of the puzzle. So there's the numbers, there's the how are you going to run your day, what are you going to do for the people that work for you. But then there's the piece of like, what are you going to do for you? Because
Mm,
ultimately, if your health isn't good,
mhm,
nothing else in the business is going to be optimal.
mhm,
So what I like to like, there's a lot of different facets. So I could sit here and say you need to eat more protein, like start with that. But if your
mhm,
digestion isn't working properly, the more
mhm,
protein is going to cause more problems.
mhm,
Until you get your digestion underway, uploading or ingesting more protein is going to be harder on your system, which then causes more stress on your body. So it is a strategy. And I do actually call myself a health strategist because over the years I
mhm,
figured out that there's not one strategy like your business. When you're working with every client, they're not the same. You
mm-mm,
and I aren't the same, right?
mm-mm,
I don't put my phone by my bed either. So we do something the same. I'm a morning person, you're not, right? But like our lives are different. We do different things. And it's coming up with the strategy that here's what's wrong, here's what's going on with your body, and these are what we need to do to fix it for you. So it's
mm,
easy. You go online, you see, get your steps in, lift
mhm,
heavy weights, especially
mhm.
menopausal women, eat your protein, drink your water. That's all fine and dandy. Those are all great. But what about like your nervous system? Like, are you taking time to regulate your nervous system? And I will tell you that was the hardest thing for me. Very, 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 very hard. I'm a go, 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 go person. I was the one in the front of the class teaching it, but teaching multiple gym classes every day or workout classes every day, plus doing my own workout and, getting up at the crack of dawn and da, 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 da. And for me to slow down, it's taken me years and I still am not great at it. I hire somebody to do it for me to like make me do it because otherwise I won't do it. It's not something that comes naturally to me. But I think we need to think of it the same way as our business, our health. We need a strategy for our health because like I said, if that's not in place, the business isn't going to be running optimally either.
Well, and I love this because I have 2 questions on the heels of this. So you did reference something that if you were calorie conservative for most of your life, right? And you did that and, you're like, "I'm not losing the weight, I'm adding cardio, I'm doing all these things." And you did that for so many years, right? So your body adapted to that, I'm guessing, right? My first question is it too late?
No.
Is it too late to make these changes? Because I think often whether we're starting a business, sometimes you feel like it's too late to start a business when you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s. And I highly recommend not thinking that for anybody watching this because it's like a great time. But it's a different style of starting a business, or it's a different way of really leaning into your health strategy as you're referring to it, right? So I'm really glad to hear you say that it's not too late for us to step in and do something about this.
No, and the one thing we have to think about is when you see these like red shiny objects online about lose 30 pounds in 30 days or take this drink and lose weight or heal your cortisol by drinking this tea, those are all fine and dandy. They're probably not bad for you, but they're not going to give you the result that you want unless you do the foundational work. And it's not too late, but also remembering that however long you've been, let's say, reducing calories or not eating enough, it's going to take you a long time to build that up. I have clients that I work with, and sometimes the first 3 months is just getting them to eat enough because we
Mm,
can't move on. We can't go and work on liver detoxification. We can't go and work on the gut until the foundations are met. And because of that, it just takes a little bit longer. So it's never too late. It's the expectation that coming in, it's
mm,
going to drop in 30 days. That's not realistic in anything. Maybe when you're 20, but I've also worked with 20-year-olds and that's not a reality either. So it's never too late. I work with people that are in their 60s or in their 70s. And it's like they just want to feel good.
right.
And this is what we're doing. And beyond, I would say, yeah, we all want to look good. We all want to like fit into a different size, right? But at the end of the day, we just want to feel good. And
Oh, there's
it's
nothing
never
better
too
than
late for
waking up and feeling good, right? Like there's just,
that.
I
No.
mean, you wake up and you're like, I feel good. I have energy. Had a great night's sleep, all the things.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so I'm going to take a little pivot here for a second because what I hear often also is, oh, I'm so burnt out. So how do I decide, or how do you look at it from burnout versus hormonal imbalance. I think it's interesting to look at those two either similarly or not at all. So, what would you say to the difference between that, or what do you see?
So I don't really see a difference. I see a lot of overlap. So there's hormone imbalances and there's burnout. Now I do saliva hormone testing in my practice, and we do measure cortisol, so your stress hormone,
Mhm.
in like acute phase, burnout phase, or exhaustive phase. That's the three phases that you can get sort of from this test. And burnout is where your body is on this like downhill trajectory, and if you keep going the pace that you're going, doing the things that you're doing, you're just going to go down. And when you're at the very bottom in exhaustive phase, you're stuck in a vat of mud. And if you have ever tried to get out of like quicksand, that's kind of what it's like. It's like you're going to be climbing this mountain, and up and down, up and down, up and down, until you can get yourself going. So it's very similar. All the symptoms are very similar from burnout and hormonal imbalance. So, a lot of the ones like I listed before. So, the big ones are weight gain, energy, and sleep. So, those are the top three that I hear most often. I hear brain fog, I hear headaches, I hear skin irritations. But the most I hear is I don't sleep well and I have no energy. I wake up okay and then I crash, or I can't get out of bed. I snooze 7 times, and then I'm wired to go to bed, but I know I'm exhausted. There's like that, and then the weight gain. It's like I'm trying all these things and nothing's working. I'm actually gaining weight, and those are exactly the same. So hormone imbalance, burnout, exactly the same, because ultimately burnout is a hormone imbalance. Burnout
Mm.
is your cortisol, your stress hormone tanking, your adrenals tanking, not working properly, and your body is getting these signs. If
So, what do
you
you do?
feel if you feel
Yeah.
burnout, like if you actually go, I'm burnt out, I would
Mhm.
highly suggest getting tested and working with someone, because what you're doing currently isn't working. And if you keep, like I said, if you keep going in the same path, you're going to just start sliding down that hill and eventually get stuck in that sand. And then things just get worse down there. And sorry, I cut you
So,
off. What were you going to say?
no, no, that's okay. So, no, 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 no. So, you answered the question. What do you do? What do you do if you're like, "Oh, I feel some signs of burnout coming," or "I'm so exhausted," or like we go back to the chat question, tell me the signs. So, let's say I wake up, start energetically, go on my walk, get outside, and then I'm actually saying this for myself. And then get to my desk because I can't wait to get to my desk
Mhm.
more times than not. I'm like super excited to start the day. And then I gotta tell you, if I have any calls by 2 in the afternoon, I'm like, "Oh, man, I feel like my eyes are bleeding." Like, it's a thing, and I think I am a pretty hard sleep like, I can sleep without waking up through a whole night. Now, whether it's quality sleep or not, I don't know the answer. I try to not have my meals, close to the time I go to bed. Like I said, I take my phone away, so there's no blue light hanging around there, but I do have to say, like, in the middle of the afternoon, then is that hormone imbalance? I don't think I'm burned out, but maybe I'm just tired just because I've poured so much into the day already. I don't know. I actually don't know.
So there's a double, like for you specifically on that, obviously we'd have to dive in and figure out what else is going on, right? Like
Mm.
when I work with my clients, I do a full assessment that takes them about 40 to 50 minutes to fill out. It's very in depth. We go into all kinds of different areas, because it sounds like you're doing all the right things. And this is what people get hung up on. I'm doing all the things. And it's like, that's great because you're far ahead from everybody else. But if you're getting those energy dips where you want to fall asleep, I would say there's two things probably going on. There's a blood sugar imbalance, meaning so a lot of people eat and then they fast for a while, like they have breakfast and then they don't eat till lunch. So what happens is their blood sugar dips, and then they have dinner, or sorry, they have lunch, and then it goes back up, and then they don't have anything till dinner and it crashes. And then at night they start to eat more, right? That's a whole other thing. But that after lunch dip is what you're talking about. So the way I work with my clients is balancing the blood sugar, making sure we have enough fuel throughout the day. So it's a meal, a protein rich meal in the morning, and then 2 to 3 hours, 3 to 4, 2 to 3, whatever hours later, it's a mini snack, not a meal, but it's like a bridge to get you over to lunch so that your blood sugar stays like this. We don't want it doing this. This is when crashes happen. So the blood sugar balance would be one thing. The other thing would be how deeply are you sleeping? And if you're not waking up in the middle of the night, and you wake up with energy, then it's probably more to do with like maybe another thing is you pour too much in the morning and you don't give yourself enough of a break. So even if it's like let's just say, I'm gonna make this up. You sit down at your desk because you're so excited to work and you work with everybody, and then at 2 o'clock, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I've got to drag on to the next day. Maybe what you need is client break, client lunch, client break, client dinner, right? Like building in those breaks, and nobody does it because we feel, as women especially, we need to go, we got to do our work. I need to get my work done, and then I need to get groceries, and then I need to pick up the kids, and then I need to probably be on a call tonight, and then I need to wake up and do it all again tomorrow. And it really, you'd be more productive and you'd have more energy if you ate at a regular basis, because a lot of times founders aren't eating enough because we get busy. So there's that issue. And then there's the not taking that break. As we get over like into this perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause stage, we need to take breaks. But we've never been taught that. We see it as I'm being lazy or I'm being
Oh,
unproductive.
yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes.
So I can tell you one of the best things I did was get a puppy. And I had to take him out 3 times a day. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. Like, I know I have work, I have break, I have work, I have break, I have work. And it was like the best thing I could have done, because otherwise I just work right through. And it's like, oh, I missed
Yes.
lunch or whatever. So whether it's having a puppy or putting a reminder on your phone or an alarm to go off, being like, I just got to get up. Maybe if you work from home, or if you work in an office, you go outside and you walk around, or you just go outside and step on the porch if you're at home. Do something that just takes you out of your seat and sort of gives you a little bit of renewed energy. Go get a glass of lemon water. Go get a tea downstairs, right? Or at the office or whatever. Just do something that changes what you're doing. Like client calls can de-energize you, right? So you need to do something to bring that energy back up. So not booking back to back. Or if you do, make sure you slide in that time for you. That would be my suggestion, just knowing very little about what you're going through.
Well, and I think for anybody watching and listening, I think that is great insight and advice for any one of us to take any of those nuggets and really drop them into our schedule, because you're right. I think you've listed off so many things. First of all, we get busy. How many of us eat lunch or something that looks like it might be a lunch at our desks? And I'm using that lunchtime to do a bunch of personal things. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I need to reschedule that dental appointment, or I need to like book that, or I need to book some travel, or I need to cancel that subscription or renew it, or change the credit card. Like there's always the to-do list, right? So I think
Yes.
I'm going to eat lunch and get a whole bunch of stuff done, right? And then you all of a sudden you're going into your day and you're like, wow, or it's 2 o'clock and you haven't had lunch yet. You're like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I haven't even had a chance for lunch yet. Right? So I think you've just really given us so many different things that are lifestyle changes that we just have to be intentional about them. And they're like
Mhm.
an anti-hustle approach. And I
Yes.
think that also is teamed up with anti-guilt against it, because you're right. When I don't feel like I fill every working hour that I've isolated for work, I'm so unproductive. I'm like,
Yeah.
what did I even get done? Like, did I even accomplish anything today? Like, you just, if it's not task based, I feel like, did I even get anything done? And I know that's not the case, but it's hard. It's hard.
It is.
It's
It
hard
is
to
hard.
rewire that.
It is for sure. And a lot of us have been taught that, whether it was from our parents or whether it was just from society. We're taught to go, 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 go. And,
Absolutely.
especially as young moms, my kids are old now, like they're 21 and 19. So I'm not in that phase at all where they need me at all. But I still feel like I need to be that person. Like if I'm not providing for them, if I'm not doing those things, and it takes a lot to step back and be like, no, this is the time of life for me. What do
Mhm.
I want to do? Because
Mhm.
we've earned this. We've
Mhm.
earned this time where we've done that busyness when it's
Mhm.
necessary, but it's our time to take back what belongs to us and to feel very like really good at this stage. Like
Mhm.
when people come and they're like, "Oh, I was just told to just beware because it's coming, like this perimenopause, menopause phase. Beware." It's like, why do we have to go through life being scared of this phase? This is actually, like I said, a great opportunity. You have no one to need you right now. I have my puppy who needs me. That's it. Like that's it.
Well, and like I said at the beginning of our chat together today, the energy that I had in my 20s would be great, but I actually really don't ever need to go back to the 20s, 30s,
Yeah.
40s, and I too have older children. So I think this is so insightful, Carrie, and I think the more we can give this whole message oxygen, the more we can dive into this, the more we can
Mhm.
like be open to these things and not and knowing that we don't have to feel like this is not something we have to just adjust to. We don't have to feel this way, right? So for anyone listening, right, and leaning in going, "Hey, guess what? That's me," or wants to share their part of their story like I did today. Um, how do we do that with you, Carrie? Because I think this is something not only for getting started sooner than later, but then also as we lean into this phase of our life or the next year or wanting to intentionally make a difference. Help us. Please help us.
Yeah, so I hang out a lot on Instagram. I am on Facebook as well, but I love having chats there. So just tap me, say you listen to this, and I just love having conversations. And then, if we want to go a step further, I love having conversations face to face and just getting to know your story and seeing if what I can do can help you, or just giving you some tips that will help you just move along a little bit further. So Instagram would be great. My email, I'm not sure if you're putting that in the notes, but I would
Yeah.
say Instagram is probably the best spot just because we can have the conversation back to back instead of it filling our inbox. And yeah, I always love having the conversations. I love hearing women's stories because everyone is so unique and everyone has a different outlook and a different way of doing things. And I
Well,
just want to
thank
relieve the stress on everybody.
And we want you to do that,
Yes.
please, and thank you in advance. And what I really love is, the opportunity to connect with you so personally on Instagram. What I've done recently with Instagram, when possible, is voice note. So
Me too.
I think that's just such a beautiful way to do it because it's a real person saying, "Hey, Carrie, this is Carlyn, and you know what? I saw your interview on YouTube, and I really would love to have a further chat with you about like I don't want to wake up feeling tired or I don't want to hit
Mhm.
that 2 o'clock slump or I know there's more to this and I just need to get it sorted out. So I think that
Yeah.
is just awesome that you're so involved and you're so there for your community. So thank you for sharing all of this behind the scenes too. I think
Yes, you're
it just gives
welcome.
us all just a little more peace of mind. And you know what, the more I hear this, the more I'm going to pay attention to my schedule too.
Yeah, just start listening, right? Just the first
Yes.
step would be just being aware that what's going on, and then that's a great first step.
Amazing. Well, thank you. And thank you for everyone for joining us today. And as you know, we are stepping into the last quarter of the year and into 2026. And something we are offering all of our community and our clients and new clients is to work with me for a full year. So we have developed a new program, just like what Carrie's talking about from the health perspective. We're really going to dive into the business fundamentals and help you make your 2026 the best year ever. So we call it the strategy year. And if you're interested, please connect with us. I would be happy to have a conversation with you. There's so much opportunity out there, and we just want you to build your business in a very grounded way so that you can sustain both your business and your health goals. And this is what No Gatekeeping is all about. Real strategies, real stories, and tools that help founders lead with intention. And that means your health as well. So subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And we'll see you next Thursday.